Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today. I am in Orange, California, and so much to follow up on. You know, my last video was on real estate, and every now and then I do something and it just spurs the comments and spurs people sending me stories and phone calls and emails and everything for people I haven't talked to sometimes in months. So there's a lot to cover on that, plus the national news and everything that's going on as we enter July and all these different changes that are happening in the economy. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button also. Please comment on the video, guys. And, you know, you can get a hold of me. There's an email you can get a hold of me. And don't forget, you can sign up for that email list. There's one going out this weekend. We have a Patreon group that you can sign up for. And also, remember, guys, I do not text. I do not use WhatsApp. I do not use Telegram. When you see these scammers that have the channel names of me or any other YouTuber, and they act like, hey, get in touch with me now. They're not us, guys. They're not any of these other people that you see on YouTube. They're absolutely scammers. Do not write them. Do not send them anything. Buyer beware, guys. That's on you guys. Okay, so let's get into it. Real estate right now, it's insane. In the month of June, think about this. The number of listings, we talked about a glut of houses, and I had experts say, I have no inventory. There is just a lack of inventory in my area. Now again, in those people's neighborhood, that may be. Overall, the number of listings jumped 18.7%. year over year in June. Now, with that being said, with that jump, that's the highest increase since 2017. So if you guys are following real estate in any way, shape, or form, whether you want to sell your house, you want to buy a house, you're just curious about the market and curious about the economics of real estate, this should concern you because there are, in fact, a turn. I spoke with Scott Walters, who was my go-to guy for real estate, and I'd like to say it was the first phone call. It was like the 7th phone call today about this. But Scott was saying, Dan, you know, you go from, you know, everybody wants to be a buyer. There's very few houses available to be sold, and now it's just an abundance of sellers right now, which is a problem, guys. That's the problem, because people are going to demand a certain price for their home because Ted and his wife got this, and they're not going to be able to get it. That's going to be a huge problem for these people in the coming months. So that being said, you know that area that I did a video on earlier with the $26 million house in Corona Del Mar, there are more listings in that area now than there have been in almost a year. So, you know, oh, is it just a nice neighborhood that just has a glut of listings? No. You're seeing more and more of these houses for sale right now. And low-end areas, high-end areas. But what you're seeing from the tracts that were built during this time, and the people that are in the most amount of trouble are the people that went out and bought a new home in these tracts during the last 3 years. Those people are in real trouble. Think about this. These tracts that everybody paid a higher price than they would have paid, you know, 6 months earlier. Things go up. The problem with these neighborhoods is that everybody paid at the top of the market. And what every real estate expert that talked to me today said the same thing, and that once they start to turn, it's going to bring down the entire neighborhood. And the problem with this is that, you know, people don't want to hear this part. What happens when somebody loses a job? Well, then they can't make the house payment. And talking to these experts, it is crazy the number of people and the number of lenders that are promoting the adjustable rate mortgages. Those ARMs are going to be the kiss of death for a lot of these people because they're doing what they can do to get themselves in the house. Some of the rates, some of the banks are starting to offer teaser rates, but you're seeing all these banks lay people off. You know, we just talked about this at 500 people at First Guarantee, which is a PIMCO company, yesterday. That's huge, guys. And think about this. Australia, I have all these real estate people in Australia now writing me saying, yeah, you're not, you know, making this stuff up. This is happening. But the largest bank in Australia just raised the amount, the rate on fixed rate mortgages up 1.4%. Now think about this. People wrote me and said, if my house goes up another quarter of a point, I'm going to lose the house. That is crazy, guys. So now you've got people that are facing 1.4% more on the fixed rates of their mortgages. Absolutely nuts, guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but nobody wants to talk about the mortgage payments. Nobody wants to talk about the number of sales that are in their neighborhoods. And again, you have pockets of real estate that are still doing well, but overall you've got real problems where it's just starting right now. And that's the one thing that we talked about with Las Vegas. Las Vegas is changing the tax structure for our residential property when you live in it, when it's owner occupied, and for investment property. How is that? How come people are not talking about that? That's the kiss of death. Went to a baseball game last night with a friend of mine, and we were talking about areas in the country. He's an entrepreneur that's lived around the country, lived in New Hampshire and Boston, Philadelphia, the desert, all over the place. But one thing that he floored me with was how he would, when he lived in Chicago, how they would just raise the property taxes $5,000 in the house. It's crazy, guys. Now here in California, basically you've got a 1% property tax. It's like 1.02%. And then you've got certain fees for trash and things like that, and some water fees and things like that. But it is crazy because you have $200,000 properties that have $20,000 tax bills on them in some of these cities. That's nuts. And how can people afford it? How can the average retired person afford that right now? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So, a lot of changes, a lot of things happening, a lot more to cover. Share your thoughts on all this stuff. But real estate, everything leads to real estate. Everything starts with real estate. Everything is a problem with real estate. When it goes down, when it's good, everybody loves it. Everybody's going to tell you how great it is, how much money they're making off of it. But you're seeing an abundance of properties available, and you're seeing the shenanigans lows with these adjustable rate mortgages, and people are like, things are going to change. You're going to see the interest rates go down. You pray they go down. You better hope they go down. But like every expert I talked to today in regards to banking, if they whiplash and go the other direction, and this thing, hey, we're going to lower interest rates now, that would be the kiss of death in the economy, guys. It would just be Mad Max, and it would be over with. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. I really want to know what you think. One more story in regards to real estate. And there's a writer that I like, and he says, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a chart is worth 1,000 pictures. And I agree with that. There is a great chart that shows that it's kind of shifting right now, and it's becoming a buyer's market for real estate. And you're starting to see the problems that we have with the affordability index, even 45 days ago, has completely changed. And the glut of houses that are on the market are becoming a huge problem. And these sellers that waited, and we're going to get top dollar, and we're going to get more money for our house than the neighbors did, they're in real trouble right now. But it's also, there's a huge amount of people that still can't afford a house regardless of where they're at right now, and that's about to turn. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. A couple things. Elon Musk, there's a great story about a Tesla fire, and when it rains, it pours for this guy. And they're talking about how a Tesla caught on fire, and it took 4,500 gallons to put out an electrical fire. Okay. And again, no, you've never heard that figure for a car fire ever. But because it's a Tesla and it's Elon right now, that's what they're saying. So that's interesting. Also, here's the thing. The Texas Gigafactory, great story about how they can put out 5,000, think about this, 5,000 cars a week right now for Teslas. That's crazy, guys. That's a huge number of cars each week. Now, another thing, you're starting to see more and more competition with the EV cars, and people are writing me, sending me stories about Mercedes has got a new electric car. The Cadillac, think about this, guys. I did a story last week on the new the EV Cadillac that was going to be $200,000. No, they changed the price to $300,000. Hello, okay? $100,000 price increase in a week for that car. That is insane, guys, that they're doing this. So, okay. Now, inflation, the thing that nobody wants to talk about. Our core inflation number for consumer prices went up another 5% in the last month as compared to last year. And, it's no big deal. It's a 40-year high. That's where we're at. And again, nobody wants to get to a 50-year high. Why is that? Why don't you want to get to the 70s? That's what I want to know. Why do they keep saying it's the highest in 40 years? There's some stigma with these people that they don't want to have the highest inflation in 50 years. They want to say it's the highest inflation in 40 years. Unemployment claims were 231,000 people last week filed for first-time unemployment claims. And they're saying, great, it's down a couple thousand people. Okay. Again, you've got to look at the numbers. If you look at the 4 weeks, there's more people that filed for unemployment just because they had 1 week where it was down a few thousand people. It's ridiculous. So you can go nuts with all these different numbers and figures and everything with this, but man, it is just escalating out of control as far as inflation, inflationary numbers, what people are paying for things right now. Nothing is affordable. I love these core inflationary numbers that don't include fuel or energy in them, okay? Or, excuse me, food or energy in them. So, okay, well, what else is there? It's everything else. But if you buy anything, you're seeing the numbers just catapult. As we hit July, one thing that I am floored about, and that one thing I'm getting a lot of response from, was the shrinkflation and skimpflation and the quality of things. Have you guys noticed this? The quality of things that we purchase have just gone to hell, guys. It really has. You're seeing clothing that's cheaper. You're seeing, I'm talking about quality, not the price. You're seeing certain things that would last for years, like socks. It's ridiculous. And socks will last a few months now, and you got to throw them away. Certain things have gone up so much. You're seeing in tools, and you're seeing hardware items, and you're seeing products that just used to last for years, if not a decade, and now they're just breaking earlier and earlier and earlier. So, share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. I really want to know what you think. How do you feel about these inflationary numbers? You think that that they're as bad as they say they are? I think that it's the worst inflation we've ever had in our lifetimes. That's what I think. And I think that it's not getting better. And again, what is the stigma with the 40 years? What is that? Why is it they don't want to sit there and say, this is the worst inflation ever? Nobody wants to admit that. You're going to see people, housing tracts. Same thing's going to happen, not as quick as 2008, but you're going to see housing tracts where what my brother used to call the foreclosure look, where people would, you'd drive by and you'd have multiple houses in the same tract where the people were foreclosed on. That's coming again to a theater near you. And you're going to see more and more people that won't be able to afford their houses. And again, if anybody loses their job during this time, man, it's done. Complete kiss of death. A lot of people have overextended themselves and are house poor. And we were talking about different communities over the last 20 years that I know of, where people, even in high-end communities, these people bought too much house, and just, people that would live there 2 and 3 years would have newspaper on the windows because they couldn't afford window coverings. You're going to see things like that again. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. You have to remind yourself right now that what is happening in different regions is going to come to a city near you. It's just that simple. 2 more Australian stories that were sent to me from 2 different people in Australia. First thing, they have employee problems there in Australia, just like they have here in different regions. Workers can't afford to rent a house, buy a house, but you need good managers, you need good employees, and you want to keep people, you want to keep families together, you want to encourage them to go out and to, to stay within the community. So what these businesses in Australia are doing in Queensland is they're going out and they're renting and buying houses for their employees. Okay, making cash offers for houses so they can keep quality employees. That's crazy. You know, you're going to see that more and more right now because people cannot afford it. And again, the Australian real estate right now is clearly one of the biggest problems in the world. And it's going to be the first one that's going to absolutely explode over everything else and crash. But to keep good employees and to keep families together and kids in their school districts and things like that, they're going out and doing everything they can to keep these people by renting and buying houses for their employees. Now, another Australian story, which is crazy because this is going to come to banks here. There is a bank, an online bank called Volt. Volt said, hey, we're done. We're going to go out of business next week. They're giving people a week's notice to saying, pull your money out. There's $200 million in deposits. We cannot get more investments. Pull your money out now while it's in the bank. And they gave people basically a week's notice. Okay? $200 million. 6,000 depositors. Get the money out now. Now, how crazy is that, guys? That could come to a bank near you. And again, ask the bank of their financial solvency. Volt, the online bank, you know, clearly there's no branches because it's all online, but they want people, hey, last chance. So if you're sitting on this, what about the poor people that don't get it? What about people that don't read the news? People that don't watch iAllegedly? What about those people? There's going to be people that are going to get this notice late. Oh, we told you, pull your money out, and it's going to be too late. Be aware of what's going on financially right now because we're being told, hey, the inflation's a 40-year high, but it's not that bad. It could be worse. Your bank's closing, and don't worry about it. You know, we're not solvent, and we couldn't raise money to continue operation. But they're giving you one last chance to get your deposits out of that bank. Run, don't walk. Run to Volt Bank if anybody's out there in Australia. But again, this is happening around the globe, guys. It's just not Australia that's got financial problems when it comes to banking issues and things like that. You're going to see this regionally in different communities. We're seeing branches shutter. You're seeing places in Canada that have one or two different banks and one of the banks closes and people have to go, you know, one place has to take a ferry ride for 45 minutes to get to the nearest bank branch. That is insane, guys. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys, because, you know, you got good companies that are trying to help people, but they know that there's a problem with real estate, and you've got to keep workers there. You've got to keep people happy, and there's just no way to do it right now. So share your thoughts on all this stuff. And if you know anybody that's at Volt Bank, run. Get your money out. Get it out immediately. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. One thing about business that you have to look at is what's happening today could be totally different from what's going to happen 60 days from now, 90 days from now. People right now that are buying houses are seeing huge problems with getting their loans approved because the houses are taking longer to get built. We've talked about this for, you know, a month or so now, where people have been waiting. All these stories are starting to escalate and get worse and worse and worse. And we're hearing, you know, how people are being asked for more money from the builders, and then the loan gets approved and they're paying, you know, thousands of dollars more a month. That's continuing to happen, guys. And not everybody can swing that. And with that, people are losing their deposits. And there's one lender out there that is telling people that they will get a fixed, they'll give you, they'll lock in a rate for 4 months. So you're starting to see craziness like that. Now, Micron. This is a company that makes microchips. They had good earnings, but the stock is starting to sell off. And the reason for that is not with their past results from the last quarter, it's the forward guidance. And what's going to happen? They see a huge problem with computers and a huge problem with cell phones in the coming months, that people don't have the money. People are going to spend less money on things like this. Yeah, you may get, you know, a stimulus check and people may have a little extra money. People are going to hold on to their phones longer. They're going to hold on to their computers longer. And businesses will do the same thing. So with that being said, the forward guidance for this company is awful, and there's a huge sell-off for that. So again, I've been there. I've borrowed money to put out fires with my business, and guess what? Problems were still there, and I had bigger problems because I owed the money after that. So I always tell people, do not borrow money if it's just going to solve a quick problem that could escalate into something else. Say no and figure out something else, which there's a lot of different alternatives you can usually do. So the other thing is the pending food crisis that we're going to have. You know, with Russia and Ukraine and that situation right now going on, you're seeing that the problem with wheat and how it's getting worse and worse and worse. And they were talking about this in May, and now here it is July, and you're saying that as much as 400 million people could go hungry to 1.6 billion people could be dramatically affected by this and not have enough to eat in a short period of time, months. So this is only escalating out of control more and more and more. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. I want to know what you guys think about this. Also, you know, took a friend to the Angel game last night. We said that we had a giveaway for the Boys and Girls Club. Let me show you guys the video for that. Hey, it's Dan. I'm at Anaheim Stadium tonight. I'm excited. I had a giveaway on the channel for the Boys and Girls Club, and Davey won the tickets, so he's going to sit with me in my good seats, and let's hope I'm looking for Davey.
Allegedly, Dan, hey, it's me, Davey.
Davey?
We're here.
You're 14?
Oh, my ones kind of look like fours, buddy. You know, my handwriting's not so good anymore.
Okay.
Thanks, man. I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait.
I bet you are. Okay,
We're gonna get some hot dogs?
Yeah, I'll get you whatever you want.
All right, I like hot dogs. I like them all. 4 cheeseburgers, 3 French fries, bottle of water, and I think 6 beers. How's that? Does that work? Are you drinking? So we get 12 beers. Do you drink a lot when you come to the game?
Not really.
No? Well, that was a good time to start. Come on. Just. Wait, this is behind the dugout, man. Who wants me behind the dugout?
Third row. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. I thought you had better sense than this. What the heck? Yeah, but I want to see a fight. Fight. Let's go, Angels, fight!
Get there!
Haha, that was funny. Wonder if I should ever do a real ticket giveaway. Would you guys want to go to the game with me sometime? It'd be kind of cool. Anyways, got good seats. So I'm going to finish this video with these last couple stories. And the first one is out of Singapore. This is insane. Hey, it's 4th of July is coming, so why not talk about beer? And there is a beer that is made out of toilet water, recycled toilet water out of Singapore. Boy, you can't make this stuff up. Story is below. I don't know who would try that, who would drink that. You know, here in California, when you have reclaimed water, which is what that is, like when they water a park like this, they have to have signage all over the place out here, so some kid doesn't stick his mouth on a sprinkler head and start sucking down some of that reclaimed lovely shenanigans water that New Brew's made out of Singapore. The final story is out of Cape Cod, and on this lovely 4th of July, beginning of July, and summer's here, all these sharks are getting spotted off of Cape Cod. Hey, do not go in the water because there's sharks. Some of these are great white sharks that they're seeing inland, you know, very close to shore right now. They've had 11 sightings of sharks now. 11 different sharks. Now, here in Southern California, I want to say 5-6 years ago, a bunch of stingrays were off the coast of Huntington Beach. So they told everybody, hey, don't go in, you're going to get stung. And of course, people go out there and they don't think anything about it. And people got stung left and right walking out there. But would you go if there's a great white shark that would eat you? If you've seen Jaws, you know what could happen, okay? So share your thoughts on this. But again, a warning. Heed the warning, guys. Heed the warning about the economy. Heed the warning about a big shark that would eat you in seconds. Please do not forget to hit the like button. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. share this with everybody. Don't forget, follow me on all the social media channels, guys. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on all that fun stuff. Don't forget, you can join the email list. And also, if you want the Patreon channel that we have, you can sign up on Patreon. And onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.